Welcome to the new show on the Flocka Watts channel. This show is entitled On Faith and Doubt, The Deeper Questions. My name is Watford Reynolds Watts, but you can call me Watty Watts. See that right there? That's Watty Watts. I'm dressed different than normal if you know me from my other shows. The hat and the jacket are in honor of the people in my family that came before me, that were truly wise. Among many of them, my granddad, who was born in 1912 and homesteaded in the mountains of New Mexico in the early 1930s. His second child is my grandma, who was born in 1935 and is still alive to this day, at 90 years old and soon to be 91. And while her children were the first in all these generations to go to college and get educated, some days I think the wisdom stopped with her, or stops with her. Her husband died, a year ago now, and was the best man I've ever known, my grandpa. Also born in the early 30s and was truly wise. You see, in a long line of 15 generations of my name, born or buried on or in the soil of the United States of America, she is the last of the truly wise. This jacket and hat is a reminder to me of the people in my blood that had true wisdom. Now, the sunglasses are just so I don't have to. So you don't have to look at my eyes, and I don't have to pierce your soul with my eyes or stare into the abyss of the camera. Plus, it helps with these lights. And I can read down without and make it look like I'm looking at you, see? So that's how we're going to do it. This is a place I always knew in the back of my mind that I needed for my life. A place to forge and hone thoughts and ideas, a place to work on the mind. I invite you to join me in building something new, a new place where deeper thought can be cultivated without the chaos and madness of the current world. The format for the show is as follows. Today is the last day of the month of January 2026. I committed at the beginning of the year as kind of a New Year's resolution to live stream every single day of the year. And I have with my other shows. This show, however, will be the last day of each month going forward. On or around the last day, we'll say. But there will be 12 shows for the year. Now, what entails a show? I'm going to come to the table with the greeting and introduction, fireside chat, so to speak, as the thumbnail shows. And I'm going to present a paper. Now, if there was two of us and we had two really nice chairs like I created in my thumbnail in front of a fireplace, we could both present papers or ideas, and then we could discuss them back and forth. This medium, that which is in between something. Did you know? That's why they call it media. That's plural for medium. The medium isn't the camera. The medium is the YouTube. That which is, well, I guess it'd be the camera and the computer and the YouTube or whatever. That which is between me and you. But it brings a lot of us closer now than ever before. So we are now fortunate enough to be able to share ideas and hear ideas. So all I need from you is a quick like, subscribe, and then comment your ideas. Critique me. Write a 2-page critique or response. Maybe I'll give you my email and we can do that. But you got a month until the next show. Obviously, I'll be thinking of things to talk about throughout the month, but I'll be checking the comments. So if you want to leave comments on something to discuss or something that you didn't like or something that you liked or some place you want to take this little show, let me know in the comments. With that said, I have a 6-page paper today. Now, I understand it's difficult for some people to pay attention nowadays. Maybe it's hard for you to, it would be hard for me too. Here's my advice. Understand that when you first learn anything, it's difficult. And I think a lot of us need to relearn or first learn how to pay attention. I know this because I have 2 children that are 14 and 16. And the children in general, cannot pay attention to save their lives. And it's because of the chaos in the brain, the overstimulation, the phone, the TikTok, the this, the that. And because of that, we're in a bad place. And this is the place where we, at least me and you, can get back to that place where you're thoughtful, you can listen, you can hear, you can think, and you can speak. Now, if you're having trouble doing that, my suggestion is get healthy. The simplest thing to start, and this is no health podcast or nothing, but to be honest, the most effective thing you can do is meditation. And all it takes, what is meditation? 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes at night, 10 minutes, just set a timer, go to a dark space where it's quiet, no distractions, no noise. Not in your bed, that doesn't work. Just sit down on a chair, try and sit still, and then let every single thought and feeling in your body come to the surface. And don't think about them, don't solve them, don't try and organize them, don't deal with them at all. Just let them come and go, come and go, come and go. 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes at night will change your life. Mark my words. I actually need to get back to doing that, and I will. My commitment is to meditate 20 minutes a day, more or less. Yeah. We'll start with 10. How about that? Doing it in the morning is the toughest for me because everyone wants to jump on their phone, drink a bunch of coffee, get fired up, and be like, I'm not going to sit down and be still. But we'll see what we can do. We'll come back next month and I'll let you know. Anyway, that will really help you pay attention. And I'm not any health nut. I might as well be sponsored by Big Ag and Big High Fructose Corn Syrup. I got a sweet tooth problem. You wouldn't believe how many of these little rascals I drink. So I'm not here touting and proclaiming health and shame on you for blah, blah, blah. But I am saying be transformed by the renewing of your mind, as the Bible says, I believe, in Romans chapter 12, verse 1. Am I right on that? Let me know in the comments. Anyhow, I guess with that said, we're going to do this beautiful essay. And I may ad-lib here. I kind of rushed this sucker the last few days. I had to restart because it wasn't going the way I wanted. But I think it's a good introduction for the first show. Let me know what you think. Sit back, relax, get your mind right, go water your plants, wait, never mind. Different show. The deeper questions on faith and doubt. Worldview. Most people don't choose a worldview. They catch one like a cold. Off their parents, their feed, their TikTok, their friends, their trauma, their teachers. They inherit a handful of or their professors, don't forget. They inherit a handful of phrases, a few instincts, a couple fears, some heroes, and then they spend the rest of their life defending it like they invented it. And the strange part is we live in an age where we question everything except the everything that we're living by, our worldview. We'll research a phone for 3 weeks. We'll read reviews, watch breakdowns, compare specs, debate value, but the assumptions we carry about life, about meaning, about what's right and wrong, about what happens when we die, we treat those like furniture, like it came with the apartment. This show is for anyone tired of living that way. Not tired of faith and not addicted to doubt. Just done pretending the biggest questions can be handled with slogans. Because here's something you already know, whether you've said it out loud or not. Your worldview is not an opinion you keep in your pocket. It's a force that shapes your life. It decides what you pursue, what you fear, what you forgive, what you worship, what you sacrifice, what you tolerate, what you call worth it. And whether you call it God, truth, reality, or the way things are, you are already in a relationship with it. The only question is whether you're honest about the terms. The Jersey problem. I don't know if I should read the section topic headlines, but I am. Let me borrow a sports metaphor. Not to insult religion, but to expose something human. This came to me a few days ago, and I was blown away when I thought of it. And I've been working on it. We'll see how it come out. Okay, not to insult religion, to expose something human, because humans do this everywhere, not just in church. There are a lot of sports on this planet. Think about it. They don't share the same rules. They don't even agree on what winning means. In one sport, you win by scoring points. In another, you win by controlling space. In another, you win by endurance. In another, you win by precision. Different rules, different goals, different strategies, different definitions of excellence. But underneath all that variety, sports share something. A hunger for meaning through action. Discipline, community, ritual, identity, belonging. The feeling that you're part of something larger than your private thoughts. The feeling that your effort matters, that your pain can be aimed, and that your life can be shaped. Now, inside sports, we also know what happens. Teams form. Jerseys, symbols, mascots, rivalries. You can walk into the wrong bar wearing the right jersey and feel it immediately. People who you never met will suddenly act like family or enemies because of a logo. And here's the part that matters. A person can love a team and never understand the sport. They can chant, they can fight online, they can quote stats. Join us on the Little Nugget Show. They can argue with strangers. They can defend the brand and still miss the whole point of the game. Religion can work like that too. There are different traditions, different stories, different practices, different visions of reality, different definitions of what it even means to be human. And inside those traditions, you have denominations, teams, jerseys, the real ones, the fake ones, the true church, the corrupt church, the enlightened path, the dangerous path, the saved and the lost. And people can become experts in jersey defense without ever facing the deeper question. Is what I believe actually true? And can I live like it? Because here's the trap. When your identity is fused to your team, questioning feels like betrayal. Doubt doesn't feel like curiosity. It feels like treason. And that's how people end up living a life that is more about loyalty than truth. Although now that Jokic is back, I think we've seen the truth. There's just too many parallels there. We're going to have to leave that out. If you don't know what I'm talking about, carry on. What did I say? And I believe, and can I live like it? Did I say that? Is what I believe actually true, and can I live like it? Because here's the trap. When your identity is fused to your team, I just shit the bed. That's what I did. So, loyalty than truth. That's how people end up living a life that's more about loyalty than truth. You got to stay on task here. Don't start talking about other ideas that come to your head. So on this show, we don't start with what team are you on? We start with what is real. What is? What does is mean? And then the harder question, what should a human being do about your awareness of reality? of what is real. And to be clear, I'm not saying all religions are the same. That's lazy. Different traditions don't just wear different jerseys. They make different claims about reality. They disagree on what God is, what a soul is, what a salvation is, what a suffering means, what history is headed towards. These aren't cosmetic differences. So we're not going to flatten everything into it's all love, man. That's the other show, if you get it. What we're going to do is something rare. We're going to go treat these claims with respect by examining them. Not sneering, not swallowing, examining. The 4 questions you are already answering. Whether you're religious or not, you have a worldview. Everyone does. The worldview isn't a vibe. It's not an aesthetic. It's not your politics. It's not your personality. It's the operating system running under your decisions. It's the set of assumptions you live as if they're true, no matter who's watching or questioning or what. And I think every worldview is forced to answer or is defined and determined by 4 questions. Not eventually, daily, constantly, perpetually. You answer them with your actions, even if your mouth never touches them or your brain hasn't even thought of them. Origin, meaning, morality, and destiny. If you want to know what you really believe, don't listen to what you say. Watch what you do when you're stressed. Watch how you treat people who can't benefit you. Watch what you chase. Watch what you excuse. Watch what you worship. Let's name the questions. Number 1, origin. Where did we come from? Everybody has to answer in their own mind. This is reality, right? Where did it come from? Okay, I sidetracked. I just said that. Let me read. Not just where did my family come from. I mean, why is there anything at all? Where did matter come from? Where did life come from? Where did consciousness come from? Where did your inner world come from? The part of you that feels, hopes, that regrets, that loves, that knows you're going to die. Some people say the universe is ultimately an accident, a brute fact. No reason behind it, no author, no meaning baked in. Others say reality has intention behind it, mind behind matter, purpose behind existence. Some say the universe is eternal. Some say it began. Some say it cycles. Some say it's a simulation. And some say it's God speaking. Here's why origin matters. Your answer determines what kind of place you're in. A cold machine, a meaningful creation, a moral arena, or a random storm. And that changes how you interpret. And that changes how you interpret everything else, especially suffering. Second question, meaning. What is life? What is the meaning of life? Why wake up tomorrow? Why keep going when it hurts? Is meaning something you discover or something you invent? Is there a purpose given to you, or do you author your own purpose? A lot of modern people say I create my own meaning, and there's something admirable in that. Responsibility, agency, courage. But I also want to ask the hard follow-up. If meaning is only self-created, what happens when your self collapses? When grief hits, when depression hits, when betrayal hits, when your body fails, when your dreams don't happen. You see, in our society, some cultures love their neighbor and other cultures eat their neighbor. And they have both chosen their own meaning. Does meaning survive suffering or does it evaporate? And on the other side, if meaning is given by God, by nature, by duty, by reality, then the question becomes, given by what and how do we know? Meaning isn't a philosophical luxury. It's fuel, it's essence, it's your being. People don't break because they lack information. They break because they can't locate a reason to endure. The book that I recommend reading is Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning. Section 3, question 3, morality. Is there a right or wrong? If so, how do you know? The question is unavoidable. Even people who claim morality is subjective still get outraged when they're betrayed. They still call things unfair. They still believe some people deserve blame and some people deserve protection. So the question isn't, do you have moral instincts? You do. Everyone does. The question is, are moral truths real, like math, or are they preferences dressed up as self-principles? If morality is only a social construct, then power decides what's right. Think about it. Morality, a social contract. We just determine it amongst ourselves what's right and wrong. We find no determination of right or wrong in anything outside of ourselves. So, guess who wins? Look to the communists. Power. Wow, Jude, I just wanted to go down a political rabbit hole, but power. Oh, shoot, where did I go? There. Power decides what's right. If morality is only evolution, then good is just what helped our ancestors reproduce. If morality is real, binding, and objective, then where does it come from and why does it have authority over me? Is there a moral law? Some would say, in order for there to be a moral law, there has to be a moral law giver. That which is greater than the people that are subjected to the law. This matters because morality is the justification engine for everything else. Justice, rights, punishment, forgiveness, compassion, war, and peace. If you don't examine your morality, you'll simply call your tribe's preference virtue, whatever you prefer, whatever makes you feel good. And your enemies, you call their preferences evil. Evil. And you feel righteous about doing it. Topic, question number 4. Destiny. Origin, meaning, morality, destiny. Where are we going? What happens when you die? I don't mean what happens to your body, because we can see what happens there. I mean, is that it? Is consciousness snuffed out like a candle? Or does something persist? Does something remain? And beyond your personal death, where is history headed? Where are we headed as a society? Is it progress? Is it decline? Is it a cycle? Is it a story with an end? Is it just chaos with better marketing? Destiny shapes urgency. It shapes what you're willing to sacrifice. It shapes whether you live like tomorrow matters or like tomorrow doesn't exist. It shapes whether you can face death with peace or whether you have to keep yourself constantly distracted. Socrates said the unexamined life is not worth living. That sounds harsh until you understand what he meant. If you never examine your assumptions, you don't really live. You get lived. By culture, by fear, by tribe, by appetite, by whatever is loudest in your ear. And right now, there's a lot that's loud. It's freaking loud. We're surrounded by noise that pretends to be wisdom. I don't even know if it pretends to be wisdom, honestly. More just straight debauchery. Hot takes pretend to be insight, certainty that pretends to be strength, people shouting conclusions while quietly starving for meaning. So this show is an attempt to recover something basic and rare, the courage to think carefully about what we're doing here. Faith and doubt are not enemies. Around here, faith and doubt aren't opposite teams, they're tools. Faith is what you live by when you don't have complete proof. As the Bible says, I think faith is the certainty in the unseen, the certainty in the unknown. And nobody has complete proof about the biggest questions. Nobody, not the atheist, not anyone. We all live by some faith, religious faith, faith in reason, faith in science, faith in progress. progressives. Faith in the self. Faith that love matters. Faith that morality isn't just preference. Doubt at its best is what keeps you from worshiping your own certainty. Doubt is healthy. Doubt is how we avoid becoming tyrants inside of our own minds. Both, however, can be corrupted. Faith can become denial. We see that a lot, don't we? Doubt can become a costume for cowardice. And certainty? Well, certainty is often just pride with better lighting. Think about it. So we're going to do something old-fashioned here. We're going to reason. It's the lost art of reason. Not as a flex, not as a weapon, an act of respect for reality and for each other. We're going to steelman views with which we disagree. Wait, did I write that right? We're going to steelman views we disagree with which we disagree. I like that better. We're going to admit what we don't know. We're going to change our minds when we're concerned by better truth. Because here's my bias, and I'm not hiding it. If something is true, it can handle the questioning. And if something can't handle the questions, it doesn't deserve to run your life. The rules of this room. We're almost done here. This is the last page. So welcome wherever you land, believer, skeptic, bruised by religion, curious but cautious, you're welcome here. But this room has rules. We don't dunk. Though I'm a fan of dunking, this isn't the place for that. If your goal is to embarrass someone, you're in the wrong place. For two reasons. Number one, I don't get embarrassed. And number two, don't be a dick. Rule number two, we steelman first. If you don't know what steelman means, there's strawman and steelman fallacies. Steelman is making the strong argument against on your opponent's claim as strong as possible and then tearing it down. How is that a fallacy? Strawman is throwing up a weak argument and saying that a weak purpose. So we're going to have to work this out. It's been a while. Anyway, steelman. If you can't describe the other side of the argument in a way they'd recognize, you don't understand it yet. Number three, we separate people from ideas. That's the third rule. So people aren't the argument. People are human beings. And just keep in mind that we're all terrible at thinking. We're terrible at paying attention. We're terrible at making good decisions, myself included. And the people that think they're good, half of them are delusional. And they're all down here when human potential is way up here. So, number four, we don't hide behind sarcasm. Again, one of my favorite tools, but actually we may have to erase that one. We'll see. We value honesty over performance. I don't know is a response that's allowed here. I don't know. Let me think about it. I used to know. Shit, I forgot more than I know. Number six, this is the last rule. We prefer truth to tribe. Jerseys are fine until they become the idol. If you know what I mean. What's funny is I have like 7 jerseys right over here for the Nuggets. And I'll add one more. We're not here to manufacture certainty. We're here on a pursuit of clarity towards the promised land of certainty, which in order to have certainty, one must be certain of all things. In order to be certain of all things, one must be all powerful, existing forever and forever. And we aren't that. We are limited. We are finite. We are uncertain. But we can pursue clarity. Some episodes will end with more questions than answers. That's not a failure. That's what we want. That's often what real thinking feels like. Now, in conclusion, The journey ahead, in the weeks ahead, months ahead, we'll take these 4 questions: origin, meaning, morality, destiny, and we'll talk about them slowly. And it's not going to be annoying as fuck. You're not going to be like, oh, I don't know if I should cuss as much on this one. My family might see it. It's not going to be like a college lecture. Well, next lecture is going to be on origin. No, we're just going to keep, those are our guideposts. Everyone has to answer those 4 questions, and they've answered it. The question is, how do you answer it? And do you know? That's what we're going to work on. We'll walk them out slowly. We'll explore different worldviews. We'll look at the best arguments for and against God. We'll talk about suffering without cheap lines. We'll talk about the human need for transcendence without pretending we're above it. Get it? We'll talk about the psychological pull of religion and the psychological pull of atheism, which is also a religion, because both exist. We'll talk about how communities form and how they fail. We'll talk about what it means to forgive, to repent, to rebuild trust, to become a person who can tell the truth. Because it's been said by a wise man once, the truth has the power to set you free. Free from what? The slavery of lies, the slavery of deception. I think that man even called himself the truth. We'll examine that. And through it all, we'll keep returning to the same commitment: to examine, to reason, to be honest, to follow what's real, even when it costs us comfort. Because these questions aren't academic. They shape the kind of father you are, the kind of friend you are, the kind of partner you are, the kind of neighbor you are. They shape whether you can face suffering without turning cruel. I'm getting there. They shape whether you can face success without becoming empty. Dude, I failed there too. A lot of people fail after they experience success. Or fail, I mean just they feel empty. Anyway, they shape whether you can face death without panic. So tonight, this is where we begin. Not with conclusions, but with courage. Take off your jersey for a moment. Sit down by the fire. Bring your best reasons and your real doubts. Bring your story. Bring your objections. Bring your fear if you have it. And let's start playing the deeper game. Welcome to On Faith and Doubt. That's not the end. That's my paper. So I'm going to clean it up a little and probably post it in the comments so you can read it or reread it or tear it apart or tell me where we should go instead. Now, normally I will read the whatever paper I come up with for the month. Then I will turn to my computer and say, oh, wow, we have so many comments to deal with. And assuming there are enough comments, or not enough comments, but enough, like, if there's in that range that I can read all of them, we read all of them. Now we're in the range where there's none of them. So if you're on this show for the first time, do me a favor and share it with everyone you know, even if it's embarrassing, and say, hey, just check this out. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, pound sand. I'm tired of the YouTube cheese dick bullshit. Smash that like button. Share the show with everybody you know. Yeah, why? No, I want you to share this show because you think somebody might need a place to build thought. Now, I know not everybody's intellectual. It's like math. I love math. I've always loved math. And I never understood why people didn't like math until I had kids. And now I see that not everyone loves math. But I do feel as a teacher that if given the right teacher, everyone can become proficient at math. It's not that people have broken brains and they don't. And that's what we're doing here with thinking. Everyone can become good at thinking. It's just like everyone can get into shape, right? They can get jacked. They can, run a lot, do races that are 238 miles. We can do that with our mind, and that's what we're here for. So apparently today we have 0 people watching and 0 comments. So I'm just going to shoot from the hip here for a minute, and then I'm going to wrap it up about an hour. Oh, geez, we only went 35 minutes. Okay, stand by. Let me think if I can think of some other things we should talk about. What's difficult for me is... No. We'll say this. So now you've been with me through my 3rd show. The first show... Actually, we'll just talk about the 4th show. I will be creating that in the week to come. That's going to be a weekly foray into the madness of politics and cultural events. Or what are you? Cultural, politics, and current events. A weekly foray into the madness and chaos of politics and cultural events. Did I say it again? Current events, damn it. Okay, I'm going to have to come back to this and write that down. Yeah, that one will be fun too. But the thing about politics is that we're not going to... This is deeper than politics. Policy is is the outworking of your ethics and the outworking of your morality. This is where you build the foundation for that. You build the ethic. Politics is, hey, we should make a rule that says that you can't do this because it bothers me. And then another person says, well, why should what I do bother you? And why should that matter? And why can you tell me not to do it? Because you're just bothering me, and I don't want you to bother me. So we're going to make a rule. And if you break the rule, we're going to take you to jail. And when you're in jail, you're going to get... let's leave it there. Okay. Yeah, we have an interesting system of policy going on in the world. And I think by cultivating thought and reason, we're going to be better political participants. Because what we need is people that are wise. We don't have them anymore. We need somebody that can stand up in front of a microphone in front of city council and speak with meaning. Not with vitriol, not with sarcasm and irony and, just speak truth in such a way that it affects the opposite side or those who don't understand. We don't have those people anymore. Those people I picture as Socrates, Plato and Aristotle, Jesus, David and Solomon. Shall I honor all the prophets of the different religions? It's hard when there is definitely a topic I want to talk about when it comes to the legacy of a man. It's interesting. Maybe I'll bring it up now because nobody's watching. I tell my son, he's young, the biggest lion out there that's trying to devour you is sexual perversion. I know, weird thing to just throw out there. But it never ceases to amaze me how many men's legacies are destroyed by sexual perversion. Whether it's the tiniest little affair or a full-blown addiction to pornography, or worse yet, the violation of innocence of others. That all is coming from the outworking of perversion. So hear me, my son. You hold your head hard and straight, eyes on the end goal. And when those arrows come and when the lion comes, you fight it with everything you have. And carry a big sword. Carry a big gun. And whenever that lion shows its head, put one between its eyes. Don't ever give in to the taste of it, because it will destroy you. Now, the reason I say that is because this 4-question worldview, origin, meaning, morality, and destiny, comes from one of my favorite Christian apologists, Ravi Zacharias, whose reputation was destroyed by sexual perversion. So for those of you that would like me to mention Martin Luther King or Muhammad, the prophet of the Muslims, the Islam, there were similar perversions. And for that, I don't like to I don't know. It's something we're going to have to address. Do the great teachings of the man go into the fire because he threw everything away for the lust of a woman or a child? Some people would say absolutely. But I would say the truth stands on its own. If what Muhammad said is true, then it should stand on its own, whether he was marrying 9-year-olds or not. So I'm not going to lie. I saw religion as a hobby and philosophy as a hobby when I was in my college years. I wasn't going to college because God forbid you do that. I did a little bit of time there in the university system until I realized it's all a bunch of bullshit. Literally would have driven me nuts. Trade schools would be good. You know, if you're learning a skill, I had to go out and just start building shit and learn. Which is fine. I got no regrets. I cannot stand the fact, especially the overeducated people in our society now that are fucking clueless. Wait, we're not going to cuss as much. We definitely have a problem of overeducated people who can't. I say put them in the mountains for a week and see what happens. Put them for the mountains in a week in November, like when we go hunting, and see what happens. Some people will kill an animal and have food for a year for their family. Others will die. Why is that? It's my guess that many of those with their soft hands, their white collars, and their little badge that says, I have my bachelor's degree, I have my master's degree, I'm a PhD. They'll die. And you know who's going to live? Me, my grandpa, my dad, my granddad, my great-grandpa, my grandfather, who was a merchant sea captain on the other side of the family. And from his family, we had loggers in the Northwest. And from my other side of the family, it's farming. Farming and logging. Yeah, I don't want to hear about it. We've raised a generation or two of imbeciles that are, what was the, Anti-Fragile was the book, so fragility. We've raised a couple of generations of children into mass fragility. And to some degree, I honestly, maybe we'll examine this. I don't know if on this show or on the other one. But to see that when I was a child, there was a viciousness to the world, it seemed. Like, you're nobody unless you're hardcore. If you don't do more drugs or more violence or more gang banging or more whatever, then you ain't shit. And now kids are like, don't cuss. That's racist. You can't call him fat. Oh my God. Dad, you can't say that. Like, are you fucking kidding me? We used to... where are we growing up now? So, in some regards, children are nicer now. But I think it's just because they have a goddamn permanent babysitter. The phone. That's going to be a tough one, isn't it? For those of you that are younger, that don't have children, just wait. It's my opinion. I am of the opinion that the device, while a powerful tool it is, no doubt, will be the downfall of this society. And what I tell my kids is you have to learn to use it responsibly. I don't give a shit if everyone's using, and they're on their phones all the time. You have to be able to control that phone, not let it control you. And hey, we're all guilty of it. Sometimes you want to zone out and just watch Denver Nuggets, Jokic highlights. And that's not healthy. Beyond like an hour. I mean, an hour's worth it. But if we're not careful, we're about to lose not just this generation, but in losing this generation, we've already lost the last. The millennials are fucking everything up. No offense. I'm the last of Gen X. I'm the last Gen Xer. Actually, I think my brother might be born in 1980. Or is that the first millennial? Yours truly was born in the bicentennial year of 1976. Which means in this wonderful year of 2026, I will celebrate my 50th birthday on around the same time as the nation celebrates its 250th birthday. And if I'm not mistaken, when I said 15 generations of blood born or buried on or in this soil, I'm counting my daughter and my son. I think their children will be 16. But the first people that came over obviously were buried, not born. But I think, if I'm not mistaken, they came in the earliest of the 1700s. I don't know, do the math. My mom's big into ancestry. So I have a connection to this land. As a matter of fact, the place I will be buried. From dust you came and dust you shall return. Is the farming community that spans 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 generations now. My children would be the 6th. And in that rich soil, volcanic soil, my physical body will go to lay next to my forefathers, the 6 generations that will be buried next to each other. And if you're not careful about doing something meaningful in your life, you got to realize that in 3 generations, no one will know your name. No one will know you. Maybe they'll know your name, but that's about it. Actually, that doesn't stand true anymore. I think there's going to come a time when everything is recorded about everyone at all times, if we're not already there. So in theory, you could be watching this 200 years from now and be my great grandson or daughter and say, wow, grandpappy, he was a smart man. He lived back when those cowboys were around. To be honest, my dad's not a cowboy. He became a pilot. Maybe he's a air cowboy. Me, I'm just, I don't know what I am. I'm definitely a farmer. I'm definitely a builder. That was my granddad, was a builder. My grandpa was a farmer. His dad was farming. So I have that. My grandfather was a sea captain. I also have that. I love to be in charge. And maybe I find an affinity for the high seas. Although I don't think I've ever been on the high seas. But my brother, who is Navy of 20 some years. Are you 20 years yet, boy? Are you 20 years yet? An officer in the Navy. But he did 13 years enlisted, so give him some credit. So that's my blood. Tell me about your blood. Tell me about your thoughts. We don't have to do this every day, so that's cool. The next one will be February 28th, more or less. And I have no idea what I want to talk about, so give me some ideas. Be the first... Oh, wait, wasn't I saying hi to my great-great-great-great-grandson 200 years from now? I wonder what you guys... I can only imagine what world is going to be like in 5 years. Much less 200 years. You got to realize my grandma, who's still alive, was born in 1935. She was born and raised in the Depression. They were not quite old enough to get involved with the war, although my grandpa's older brothers, all 5 of them, I think, one of them died, were in the war. But they were around as kids to see what the war did to our country in good ways and bad, taking and giving. In giving, we became the most prosperous nation on earth in the history of the world post-World War II. Interesting, isn't it? And pre-World War II, were they listening to what? A radio? There was no TVs. Now we got this. We got everything. We got every answer to every question at your fingertips. And what are you doing with it? Well, I encourage you to do something with it. And if you want to hang out with me, I'm going to be doing something with it. And this is what I've been doing. We'll see where it goes. Thank you for joining me. Good night.